I'm Claire from Creative the Ottaway. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin'Up here in the UK. Thank you for joining me today. This week's craft along is a little bit different in that it's a mini album. Please don't switch off. I promise it will be simple for you to follow along to. And if you've never made a mini album before, maybe this is the one you could give a go. It is a 4x6, which means if you love Stampin' Up like I do, the memory and more cards, you could use the bigger ones, the 4x6 ones, as actual pages, which is perfect. You can see it stands up, it's got this spine that we just slot the pages over, and it really is quite a quick and easy make. I can hear you all groaning. No, honestly, it is. So I will go through it with you step by step, okay? So what are you going to need? You're going to need some chipboard. So chipboard is this. Cereal packet would do just as well. This chipboard is actually from a 12x12 piece that comes in the Stampin' Up sheets of designer series paper. It's usually got one of these in and I just chop it up. You can get 2 albums out of one 12x12. So you need 2 pieces that are 4x6 and 1 piece that is 2x6. So just check that they're the right size. Then you need a couple of pieces of A4. So I've got Misty Moonlight here. You need 1 for the outside of the cover and 1 for the spine. Of course, you could use an alternative colour for the spine. Stampin' Up papers all coordinate together. You could just have a plain white if you wanted. You're actually not going to see too much of the spine because it's going to be covered in your pages. You're going to see the in-betweeny bits and you'll see that, but that's about it. So you could use whatever you want. Now, what else? Oh, about 7 or 8 sheets of designer series paper. You could have all the same or different. Remember, Stampin' Ups is 2-sided, so that effectively gives you 2 for the price of 1. And you know they're going to coordinate. And they need to be 4x12. And we'll have a bit of fun in a minute and I'll show you a few different variations on the pages. So you're standing with your chipboard and your A4 and you're thinking, how am I going to turn that into an album? What you need to do is lay it out. You're going to have a back and a front and your spine in the middle, but how on earth do you work out where you want it to be? So I have already worked out the sizes for this 4x6. Okay, you need a piece of A4 that is cut to 7 inches. So on this long side, 7 inches. And then on this short side, it's cut at 7 inches. And then on the long side, it's cut at 11 1/8. Okay, so we would cut that off. And then what we're going to do is score it on all 4 sides at 1/2 inch. Okay, so if you want to do that all from one side, it would be 1/2 inch. Oh, this one. It would be 1/2 inch and then 6.5. And on this one, it would be 1/2 inch and 10 5/8. But it's just as easy to go round your A4 sheet or the cut down version, 11 1/8 by 7, and just do 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. Okay, and you're left with that. Then what you do is fold up these sides because you're giving the card a memory of where you want it to fold. Not doing any gluing at the moment, we're just folding and just, you can burnish it with your fingers or your nail. You don't need to do it with the bone folder at the moment, but that's that. Now, what happens is it gives you a frame so you can see where your front is going to be. You can see where your back is going to be. And there's just enough room in the middle for this, with a bit of a gap either side. Okay, So how do we go about sticking that on? So let me just make sure I've got the right sizes. Okay. So that is going to go there. That is going to go there. And that is going to go there, isn't it? So we're going to stick one piece on at a time. So this is 4 by 6. Okay. And we're going to put some Tombow glue on it, all over it. And we're going to stick it on this edge. So that's going to go there, and if you just bring up the side, it will help you place it just right. So that is going there, that is going there, and then when you're sure of where it is, you can just fold that down. So then you get your 4 by 6. Which is going to go next, and I'm going to use this in between. I'm not going to glue it, I'm just holding it so that I can get this in the right place, but it gives me a little bit of a gap. So if I put some glue on this first, all the way over, like so. And I just use this, just butt it up to there, put my piece next to it, okay, and just make sure that I'm happy that that's level at the top and the bottom. And then when I remove it, you can see that there's that gap in between, and I haven't had to measure, okay. So the next bit we're going to do is exactly the same, but I need a bit of the chipboard. So what I would do again is put the chipboard there and put my next piece in. But to save me running off and getting it, what I'm going to do is use the edge of my paper as my guide. So I've got some glue all over it, and I'm going to stick it on there. I'm just going to bring that up at the side. Okay, can you see? There's just enough of a gap there. Okay, ta-da! So perfect placement for your album. So once I'm happy that that is glued in place, the chipboard is glued, I'm just going to bring those sides over, and I am going to use my bone folder this time to just go along the side and just help the card to know where I want it to stick. Okay, so I haven't put any glue on at this stage. I'm just going along and just seeing where I want the side bits to go. Okay, just pressing down on all the sides, and then I do this long bit as well. Okay, just along from there, along from there, a little bit along the edge as well, just to make sure that that's over as far as it can go. Along this side, just to make you all feel a bit happier, this is my 5th attempt at videoing this. Every time I started, either the phone went, the door went, the cat had a bird, honestly. And rather than leave all that chitter chatter in, I kept stopping and starting. So the paper or the card around it now knows where I want it to go. I'm also going to just do it with this as well. I'm going to go down the side there because there's just enough room, and I'm just going to bring that round as well, okay, just like that. And now I'm going to start gluing. Actually, before I start gluing, I'm just going to cut the corners off. Now, how do we cut the corners off? Now, again, I would use a bit of my chipboard to cut the corner off. So let's use a bit. So I would put it on the corner, and then if I had a pencil, let's have a look. Here. So I will use that, put it on the corner, do a pencil mark across, and that shows me how wide I need to go, or that's the least I need to go. So I am just going to go there, like that. And I'm going to do the same on here. Lots of people just do this by eye because they're really clever. And once you've made a few, you do sort of get to know where it would be. Okay, so that's 2 corners. That's 3. That's 4. Okay, let's cut those off as well, and then we can glue that bit on. We can glue the edge on. So again, you could do this with double-sided. I tend to do Tombow glue. So I'm going to do this side first, these 2 smaller sides. Why am I doing those sides first? No reason other than it builds up my confidence with what I'm doing. If I went for the big long side at first and it went horribly wrong, that would put me off. Whereas this one, I feel like I've got a bit more control. So I'm just using my bone folder. I'm going along the edge and I'm flattening down this. Now don't worry if the glue smears out everywhere, because this is going to be covered up in a minute. Okay, I'll go to that side and do this side. And then bring that over. So bring it over, fold it over with your fingers, but use the strength of the bone folder, which should be a lot easier because you've already told the card where you want it to fold, okay? Like so. And just keep smoothing everything down until you're happy, okay? So that's either side. Ta-da! Okay, let's do this side. Now this is a little bit more trickier in that it's longer. What you need to do is start in the middle and work out. Okay, so don't need to cut it. We are looking at this corner here and we want it to be covered. So it may be that you need to just push that corner round. What do I mean by that? Okay, so where this bit overlaps here, so can you see it's longer? I'm just going to bring that in a bit before I put glue on it. So I'm just bringing it in the corner. This one's okay, I think, yep. That one looks okay. This one's a little bit longer. So I'm just bringing that in first. Right, let's do it. Once you start putting the pages on, you won't even be looking at this bit. So just bring it from the middle, go out. Okay, there's a lot of spare glue on this one. I've really gone to town with the glue. Probably put a little bit too much glue because now my bone folder is covered. Can you see? We're just making sure that that corner is in, going along the edge there. Okay, and while it's still wet, just folding it a bit. Just using the edge of your bone folder just to bring that in, and then do the other side. Okay, make sure you've got some glue along the top of your chipboard because you do want it to stay. And then this comes over. Like that. Sorry, I've gone really quiet, haven't I? It's because I'm concentrating. Do you do that? Right, and that is over there, and I just want to make sure that that's down nice. But it's going to be covered, so we won't even see it. I've now got very gluey fingers because I put way too much glue on. I just need to put those in. So while it's like that, I'm just going to bend it round, okay? And apart from the little bits of glue that have come over, look what a nice snug fit that is, okay? So that's there. While that is just standing there, I'm going to use one of these, which is a hair band, just to put it round and start giving my album a memory of how I want it to be. So I'm going to put that to one side and breathe. Okay, the next bit, right, it's this bit here, this spine bit. Let's go for it. So if you have got a paper trimmer, use that. If you're lucky enough to have one of these scoreboards, use that. Okay, one of these. First of all, we're going to cut the paper to size. So we know that it is 6 inches long here. So we know our spine is going to be 6 inches. So first of all we're going to do is cut our card at 6 inches. Like so. So we've got a 6-inch bit, and that's going to be cut again at 10 3/4. So let's just do that. So it's 6 inches by 10 3/4, and that gives us that bit. And then there's loads of scoring. Right, okay, now bring that back in. What is the best way for me to do this? Because that's quite a bit off camera. I don't know. I didn't think about that, did I? Okay, so you won't be able to see my lines at the top, my sizes, but I will talk you through them, and then you'll be able to see me scoring, just because I haven't got any more room. Okay, so what you are going to do is you need to make this, each page, it needs to be scored at a 1/2 inch, a 1/2 inch and a 1/4. And those 3 sizes will give you a page. So we need to think about, at the beginning of it, we need something that's tucked behind here and tucked behind there at the end before we do the pages. So the first score that you are going to do is at 3/4 inch. Is that right? I think so. So 3/4 inch. So hopefully you can see my 3/4 inch. And then the next mark is going to be at 1 inch, or the next score. So you should have 2 little lines here, a 3/4 and a 1. Now we're getting into the pages. So remember, we need 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/4. So half will be 1 1/2, half will be 2, and 1/4 will be 2 1/4. That makes 1 page. Doesn't make much sense looking at those lines, does it? But that's what makes a page. So now we need to repeat that. So we're going to do 1/2 inch again. So the last one we did was 2 1/4. So that'd be 2 3/4. And then the next one will be 3 1/4. And then the next one will be 3 1/2. And that gives you the second page. So just keep repeating that. So the next one is going to be 4, 4 1/2, and then 4 3/4. The next one is 5 1/4, 5 3/4, and 6. The next one is 6 1/2. Oh, that went a bit wory there. 6 1/2, 7, and 7 1/4. That's our 5 pages. Now we're going to do 7. So the next one is 7 3/4, 8 1/4, 9, 8 1/2. Yeah, 8 1/2. Okay. Like that, because on my sheet is 8 1/2. And then the very last page is 9, 9 1/2, and 9 3/4. Okay, right. So you should end up with a sheet like that. Let me just do the last 2. So then the last one should be 10. 10. Okay, so you've got 2 together there, 2/4 inch. So that's what it looks like. Right, let me go through those sizes. Right, you ready? Because this is a mouthful. 3/4, 1 inch, 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/4. So 1/2, 1/2, 1/4. Then do 1/2, 1/2, 1/4, 1/2, 1/2, 1/4, 1/2, 1/2, 1/4, 1/2, 1/2, 1/4, 1/2, 1/2, 1/4, 1/2, 1/2, 1/4, 1/4 inch, and that's it. Ta-da! I feel like we've achieved something, and now the worst bit is to come. So now how do we fold that? So along each score line, we're going to fold. So the first one just folds over, okay, like that. The second one just folds over, just like that. Then we get into the pages. So the next one is a page. So the next one, the ones that are 1/2 inch go up like that, okay? So just burnish that. And then you do it again with the next half one. So you need to fold, or you need to burnish the little 1/4 inch, but only so that you can do this 1/2 inch page. Does that make sense? So if I do those 2, so that's what you're aiming for, that. So the 1/4 inch is flat, but the 1/2 inches are making the spines. And just keep doing that till you get to the end. So you can just sort of concertina it back and forth if you want. What I tend to do is do it with my fingers, just to do so the paper knows where it's going to be folded. And then I go over it with the bone folder after. So if I show you that now, so if I pinch all the ones that are the half inch together, can you see already? There's my pages, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I haven't glued it at the moment, so they're all quite open and flowing, but that will come in a minute. So just keep doing that. Got 2 more pages to go. Like so. Until you get to this one. Now don't worry that you've got 2 together there. That, if I remember rightly, is to do with the back piece. So let's count our pages. So the half-inch score lines go together. So 1 page, 2 page, 3 page, 4 page, 5 page, 6 page, 7 page. Now, gluing. So double-sided tape or glue on these half-inch pieces. So I'm going to do the whole lot. So there's that one. So I'm just putting it on one side of the half-inch. So every time there's a half-inch bit, I'm putting some glue on it. The bits that are the corner inches are these flat bits here. They've got no glue. Okay, so I'm just putting some glue on those. And then I find, if I turn it over, because there's no glue on the 1/4 inch bits, and I'm just going along and I'm making those pages. So I'm just doing it with my fingers, just rubbing them along, squeezing the glue throughout, and just getting them to stick. Luckily, Tombow glue is quick fixing and very strong. So hopefully in a minute we'll be able to have a look at it. Okay, so that one's not stuck very well yet, so it just popped open. Let's have a look. There's that one. That one wants to pop back open as well. So I'm just going to help them by going along with my bone folder to just reaffirm the 1/4 inch bits, because they don't have any glue on and they are going to be flat. Let's have a look now. So you should end up with that. Ta-da! Lots of ta-das in this. Do love a ta-da. So it wants to curl up on itself. Sure, there's something we could make with that. Look at that. Anyway, back to the album. So now you've got these spines, you're going to put them in. So if we bring this back over, bring our album back over, we could stick that in, okay? Just like that. But what we're trying to do is work out that the first score line, so this score line that you did, let me point to it, this one, that lines up with here, and the first score line after the page here lines up with here. So you can trim these off, which I think I will do actually. So I am going to go from that bit, and I'm just taking a little corner off, just because I think will give me a nicer finish. But you don't need to do this. There's no rule about doing this. I'm not really one for following rules anyway, so okay, let's move those out the way. Bring that back in. So now if I lay it down, can you see it's just cut off at an angle? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue over all of this, but not on these two edges. So I'm putting some glue on there. Just all over. The reason I'm not putting glue on these bits is so that I've got something to hold on to, not really for any other reason. Okay, so let's have a look now. So I can hold on to those glue free. I can look at, actually I think I want it that way around. Look at where my edge is. So I'm just looking to make sure that that creased, or that score line is in line. And that score line is in line with there. And just make it so you are happy with where your pages are. Now I think mine has gone down a bit, so I need to move it up a bit. So use your bone folder, whatever you have, to just go along the 1/4 inch pieces, because they are the pieces that are stuck to your board, your chipboard. Hi Rose, I thought you might come back and decide you wanted to go out. You have to wait a minute, babe. So I'm just going to have a look, just go down it with my finger as well as the bone folder. Just make sure that I'm really happy with those, and then I'm going to have a look down on it because I don't want any gappy bits, okay? And the same with this, look, can you see how nicely it's sitting? Okay, now I can put some glue on these pieces. Oh, I just pulled that up, but that's all right. Okay, so that bit's going to go there. Just make sure that that's all flat. Okay, and this side. I mean, you could trim that off a bit if you want. It's a little bit longer than I need it, but I'm just going to leave it now. Okay, just put that down. Really need to clean this bone folder because it's got so much glue on it. Look, it's sticking to me. What about another one? Right, let's just put that there. Okay, let's have a look. Just bring it round again while it's still wet. Look at that, still looking lovely from the outside. That is my album. Let's put that on there a minute. Now what I need to do is I want a back and a front piece inside here. So bring your paper over. She says, bring your paper over. That you're choosing for your back and the front. This needs to be 4 by 6. and we are going to stick that to the inside. Okay, so you could again do the same colour. They're just going to go straight on there. Now make sure that you're happy that it is the right size. When I did this one, can you see it's sort of coming up a little bit? So I might trim these ones down ever so slightly, so they're not 4 by 6, so 4 by 7/8. Let's do that instead. Just because I want it to look professional. So still 4 inches, but I'm doing it 4 by 7/8, and this is just the inside, front and back cover. Okay, so let's put some glue on this, and then I will stick those in. Oh. Might have to go and wash my hands because they're very sticky. So 4 by... Oh no, what I did, I cut the wrong bit. So instead of cutting I cut that panel, which is fine, but I was going to cut it ever so slightly down as well, but that's fine, you can't see it from the outside. Let's have a look. No. So we're just making sure that this is stuck on, like so, in all the areas you want it, all the way around. Oh, where's me up a bit there. So what I would do on my next one, because you live and learn, is I would trim it a bit there. What I did was trimmed it on the 4-inch side to 3 7/8 rather than on the 6-inch side. But never mind, it was the cat distracting me. Blame that. It will still look beautiful. Put that on that side, then it covers up all your gluey bits, all the stuff that you did that you don't like, and that will just go on there. Now you can add things to this. Quite often I like to put a little label on here saying who it's for, that I've made it, all sorts of things, just a little personal message from you. But that is your album, front and back. Okay, I know we need to decorate it, but that's to come. So the pages, just take a moment to look at what you've made. How cool is that? Okay, remember to use your hair tie if you want to keep it in shape, just while you're figuring out the pages. Okay, pages. Right, you ready? Here's some I prepared earlier. So, we know that the album is 4 by 6. So I've taken a 12 by 12, I've cut it at 4 inches by 12, I scored it at 6 inches, and that gives me that. So what happens is, I then just need to decide where I want to put it. So using this as my spine, I can put some glue down this side and some glue around that side and stick it on, and that makes a page. Okay, simple as that. You could have 7 pages like that, but it's quite nice to do something with that. For a start, if you left it open, you could slide something in it. So I think on this one, that's what we do. So I am going to use a circle punch. What's this one? 1 3/8. And I am going to do a little bit of a circle punch on the side here. Roughly, maybe there. Not quite half, slightly less than half. And that is just going to show that paper through, So when I put my card in there, or my journaling sheet, or what photograph or whatever, I can tell straight away that there's something in there. Now I just need to put some glue along this edge and this edge. So let's do that. So I'm putting glue along one edge because I want to be able to put something in it. In that side there. And I am going to put a little bit at the top just so that it stays closed. I'm going to pick the card or the page that I want. I'm going to do it on the first page. I'm going to stick that to there. Okay. Now I need to put some glue on this edge for it to stick to there. That will come over. I just realised I'm probably not even on the camera, am I? Okay. So you can press it over to one side and just fold it down. What you're trying to do is make sure that your paper matches. Okay. So you put it all over like that and lift it up like so. And now that has formed a little wallet. Okay, so that's your first page. Ta-da! Okay, the next page. We're going to do the same. We're going to do exactly the same. Put some glue, cover up the edges, but this time I've cut a piece of card that is, so it's 6 again by that, by 8. I've scored it at 3, scored it at 6, and then what I'm going to do is actually glue this bit inside, like so that this becomes a flip out page, okay? And that just extends what you're doing. So how do I do that? Let's put that to one side. So I am going to get my glue. I need to do this bit first, I think. So I am going to put some glue. Oh, that one's not working. Put some glue on this side, on my little 2-inch side. I think the glue fairy stopped my glue working. And put some glue on that piece because that's just going to be stuck down inside. And I don't want it to move, I don't want it to pull out. So that's going to go in there, like so. Oh, this is where I'm going to get into a mess, I can tell. Trying to not take up too much time. Let's have a look. Yeah. So I've glued that bit in there. Now I need to make sure that I put some glue. Actually, if I put it on this tab, so I need some on there. And some on the other side, because my page is going to stick on there. Let's see if that works. So bring my page to my spine, make sure it's in line, put it over the glue. Press it down on that side, down on that side. Let's have a look. So we've got 1 page, 2 page. I might actually round those corners off as well. So that's my 2nd page, okay? So can you see, got 2 pages already. The third page. So the third page, what have I got for my third page? This time I'm going to do a pull-out tab for the top. So I'm actually going to do the circle at the top, or part circle. And then I can put a tag or something in it. I can still embellish the page however I want. So again, I'm putting glue on this spine, the third spine. And glue on this side. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So put the page on there. Bring it round. Make sure it is lined up. So make sure you are happy with that and that. And this time I'm going to close that bit. So I need to put a little bit of glue just along that edge. And I just close that up. Just run my finger along the edge. And that becomes a tab. So you can put a tag or something in there. So this one is going to have one in that side. I'm going to put something in that. That one folds out. This one, it will go in the top there. Okay, so that's page number 3. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. Oh, this one I thought we would do an envelope. So I've used my envelope punch board to measure out. So if you've got an envelope punch board, I've got one from Stampin' Up that's old. I have looked at my card that needs to go in there is 6 by 4. So I've gone down here and I've found 6 by 4, and it says you need an 8 1/4 and an 8 1/4 piece of paper, and I've made my envelope shape. So just got one more bit to do on that side. So just going to punch that and burnish it. Let's use that because I can't find my thing. And then I'm just going to round all the corners just because I like it to do that. And make my envelope as though it was just going to be a normal envelope, like so. Now I'm hoping this is going to work because I've not tried this. I'll probably put some Velcro dots on it to keep it shut, but at the moment I'm just seeing if this will fit in my book. Okay, so I'm going to put a Velcro dot on there and just make that look pretty. How do I fit this over a page? Oh, it's quite a bit bigger, isn't it? Do I want it that much bigger? That is quite a bit bigger. So maybe I need to go down a size. Yeah, that's not going to fit in there, is it? Oh, let's come back to that. Let's do another one. So what I'm thinking is that that envelope needs to have a bit, probably about 1/2 inch off of it to make it fit in. So 1/2 inch, I need to go down a size smaller on my envelope board. So instead of a 6 by 4, maybe a 5 1/2 by 4, which would be 7 7/8. Have we got a piece of paper left? look. We've got this paper. Let's see if we can quickly make one. 7 and 7/8. So I'm cutting my paper to 7 and 7/8. And then I get my envelope punch board. And 7 and 7/8. So it's 3 and 3/8. So 3 and 3/8. And you're going to punch and score. Let's do it at this end. Punch and score. Turn it round to the line. Punch and score. Find the line again. Punch and score. Right to the end. Less speed, Claire. Okay, last one, punch and score. So this time, if I make the envelope without glue in it, let's see. Does that now fit in there a bit better? It's a bit narrower, but I think that will work. So let's stick that in place. So I need to round those edges, just because they look better, don't they? They're rounded. I think it's quite nice to have a envelope in there, so let's do that. So that is going to go on there. Let's just finish making this envelope how we want it. Now, how am I going to fix it in? You can either slice a very thin layer off there and stick it over, or you can just stick it on this side, which is what I might just do. But it is slightly shorter than my page. So what I'm also going to do is I'm going to trim that a bit. Only a little bit, like that. But just because I want it to look like it's meant to be on there. So that's better. So if I put some glue along here, just there, you could do some double-sided if you want to. And match that up. Just press it in place. Now I need to put a piece of paper on the back there to cover that join, but that's quite nice. Okay, let's have a look. So then you've got, let's have a look from the beginning. Okay, you've got your page with your pocket there. You've got your page that flips out. You've got your envelope page. You need to put something on the back of there, and then I've still got 3 more pages. So what pages have I got left? I've got one of those, which we've just used. I've got one of those. Should we have one of those as that one? Because we could have another pocket on there, because I quite like the side pockets. Let's do that with the hole punched out. We could jazz that up a bit more, I'm sure. So let's put that on. So I'm very aware that I'm waffling. I just want to get it to a point that I feel like you've got everything you need to get going. So I'm going to put glue on that side, glue on that side, bring that round the page so that it fits. and then squash it down flat. And that way. And then just join it here. Like so. Okay, so that's got an open page again. Okay, envelope in the top there. Right, 2 more pages. 2 more. I think we could have this one. Could be a pocket page. Now I've already done that. Shall I put a pocket page on there? That'd be the last one. So that could just be a normal pocket. And then what I've done is I've cut this piece of paper, which is 3.5 by 4. Let's have a look. Where's my trimmer? So it's 3.5 by 4.5, and then I've scored it on 3 of the sides at 1/2 inch. Cut off the corner bit. Just make sure that that is right, because that is going to make my pocket. So I want it fairly flat, so I'm just making sure they don't overlap. And do this one. And then this is going to be stuck on the page and just make a pocket. Simplest pocket ever. Okay. You can embellish your pages however you want them. You can have pockets, you can have tabs, you can have all sorts of things. You can have ribbons, you can have stickers, you can have slide-in bits. You could even have a shaker page. I've seen that on some before. This is going to be the last one. So do we want the pocket on the... No, let's have the pocket on the back, because then it means there's something to look at. Still on the back page. So I'm just putting some glue on this spine. I know I've still got one more page to do, but now I've said shaker page, I'd quite like to make a shaker page. So just make sure that my paper is lined up like so. And I'm going to glue that. Do I want it glued shut? I think I do actually, because I don't want it all open. Should put glue on it first. Never mind. I will go back and sort that out. So that last page has got a nice pocket in it as well. So what else do I need to do? What about if we cut this in half? So if I put a cut there and a cut there and turned that into 2 pages. Ooh, okay. What colour could we have in there? I feel like we need a bit of a bright yellow. So what size is that now going to be? Let's have a look. So I think that's just under 3. Just under 3 by 4. So it's 8. I've just made that 8 by 3. Let's see if that fits on there. Yeah, look. That could be its own little pocket. So let's put some glue on that. Or that could be a little picture page or a really nice saying on that one that will make it stand out. Let's have a look. Yellow is quite bright, crushed curry, isn't it, for the rest of the book? But I'm sure we can make it work. Okay, so that's made one page into 2 pages. Let's have a look at that. We can decide what we're doing with that. So, okay, let's have a look so far. So there's our front, we're going to decorate. There's our first page, and that's got a slip-in wallet thing. This page folds out. We can do that on the next one, like so. This page has got a bit that's going to go in there, so we can have a tag or something coming out of there. This page is the envelope, so we can put something in there. Do need to decorate that, so we can hide that. That page is one of those again. This page is split into 2. What did I just say we could put on there? There was some, one of these, yes. So that could be one of those. And then there's a pocket. So to make one of those fold out pages, it's just under 3. Although we don't want another pink one, do we? No. Maybe one of these. Let's just do this. So, sorry, I'll be back. So that is there, but we need it to come over and out, don't we? So it needs to be 4. So I've measured it at 3 inches and I have folded it at 4. So that's going to go like that. That's going to go like that. Yeah? Okay, let's glue that in place. And I can put something on the other side to cover up the join. But I just need to know that that's where I want it to be. I mean, that might actually be too long, but let's have a look. Okay, right. Let's have a little bit of a run through of what we've done, and then I shall let you get on with your lives. Okay. So this is still a bit wet and gooey, but it will all come good. Okay. 6 by 6 album, 6 by 4 album even. So what did we do? We got some chipboard, we got an A4 piece of card, shaped it around it, we made the lovely spine on the inside, and then we added our pages. Our first page is one that's got a slip-in wallet, okay? That means we can put a photo or a journaling card in there, and that's our first page. Our second page has got a pull-out tab, like a pull-out flap, so we can add all sorts of things on there. Maybe put a little embellishment there so that it shows that it's a pull-out. Okay. This one goes in from the top, so we can have a tag that pulls out there with some journaling. This is an envelope. We need to put some Velcro on there, add lots of pretty stickers and things. Need to cover this up with an extra bit of paper. This one again It's then got one of these slip out wallets, so we can add bits on there. The next one we turned into 2 pages. This flip one and this one that folds out. So that's our second one. This one's got a pocket, ta-da, like that. Oh, we should cut that out maybe. Not sure, I need to make that look pretty. And then the very last page is where you can put your personal message or anything you like. But that is it. Ta-da! One 4x6 album ready for making beautiful. Thank you for watching. I hope that you loved this mini album tutorial. I'm sure you can make yours even better than mine because you won't be rushing and trying to fit it onto a YouTube video. If you liked listening to me waffling on, I have got quite a few different tutorials on fun fold cards and wow makes, so check me out. You can follow me on Instagram or Facebook, and I love to chat craft, so get in touch. Thanks for watching. Bye.